Hello everybody, Tom from Coffee Down the Community. Today I'm actually at Millennium Place. This is obviously the soccer field to do another quick story sharing or case study, whatever you call it, in terms of real estate investment and residential renting. Before I start, I just want to share with you another quick story. The moment I step on this soccer field, a gentleman come to me who is the staff working obviously for Millennium, and he basically asked me, say, "Hey sir, what you are doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm just doing a quick video shot." He said, "Well, this place is being actually closed. We don't have anybody booking it." I say, "No problem. I do not play anything or any sport. I just use the field to do a quick shot. If there's anything you need from me, I will definitely do it for you." And the gentleman actually said, "Sure, go ahead, no problem." So I'm just kind of trying to use this opportunity to share with everybody is the beauty of effective communication. Be positive, be happy. When you talk to people, tell people what you truly want, tell the truth, but also be cooperative. In that way, many times you will get yes. If you get no, so be it. Carry on, find another soccer field. Okay. Without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's start. So today I want to talk about the basically how are you going to taking care of your properties. A lot of people say, okay, I invested it. Very natural step is I'm going to taking care of it myself. Okay, will that be a good approach, or find somebody else to help you on that? So here is my story. I'd like to share with you briefly. I want to control this speech in about 7 to 8 minutes, so I don't want to drag it too long. Long story short, when I started in Fort Memory back year 2000, I would say give or take 2004, I'm struggling. I know next to nothing on real estate investment. After I read the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I definitely want to know what is the proper next step. Very luckily, I happen to know my wife. She actually working as an engineer in Suncor Energy, and somebody told him that there is a gentleman who actually a great real estate investor. So Lucy mentioned that briefly to me, and I said, sure, could you introduced me to this gentleman. Sure enough, we sit down for lunch, dinner, because every time when I have something I want to ask for help, I normally invite him for lunch or dinner. I think that's the best investment you can do, and show the least respect to the people you actually trying to help you. Anyway, this gentleman, I just use his first name. I still call him myself mentor today. His name is Paul. And Paul was an engineer in that refinery. Came from, I believe, Africa, south of, England. So Paul actually had, at that time period, he had over 50 individual residential houses. And he was an engineer, and what amazing about him is he quit his job and working as a shift operator. In that way, he will have more time to managing his own properties. So he did fantastic. So fast forward, Paul helped me in many ways to start my own investment, and I start on my way. And then in year 2005, I have to leave Fort Memory. I have a few properties left behind. So I basically sit down with Paul. I say, hey, Paul, anyway, I can ask you to help me managing those properties. He said, sure, Paul, no problem. So I need to take about 7% basically management fee, and those fees will include pretty much every, the renting related, sign the lease, collect the rent. If tenants have any issues, they will call them. In terms of maintenance, cleaning, obviously there's separate issue, separate cost. They will help us to hire those people to do that, but the cost will be on the owner, which is very standard. And also the other part is when it comes to the rent, renting out the vacant property, there will be a so-called replacement fee. And those pretty much all the fee is going to involve in the way he helped me. And the other thing I like to also make it clear is that there is one called property management. He did not come to me, call himself as a property management. If he does that, that is not really the proper way to do it, because in Alberta, if you call yourself as property manager, although you are doing the same thing, and that is not licensed and it is not legal. However, if you do know what you are doing, and in terms of landlord and the people help you, you hire him as employment relationship, that is totally fine. So that is legal and a very practical way. So I hired basically Paul do this for me for 7%. Fast forward 1 year later, Paul called me and said, hey Tom, everything goes well. Now I like to increase the property management fee by 1%. I actually thought about this. I said, wow, Paul, come on, 1%. Why you want to charge me just that 1% more? I really feel pissed off. So I did my calculation and do everything. And then I decided to sell that property. Well, guess what? For 1%, I start to thinking Paul is a bit more greedy on what he's asking. For the job seems very relaxable, but however, that 1%, the price is going to be the next 10 years until Paul left for the memory. The property actually going up by probably 3-4 times. So that is one thing. And also don't mention, because Paul is such a great investor, he knows exactly what he's doing. So my property doesn't even vacant 1 day during the time he managing for me, and the property is being kept beautifully. Tenant love the place. So because of that 1% change, now I decide to sell that property. Not only I lost quite a bit of money, but also I lost a pretty big cash flow. So friendship-wise, Paul and me still a friend, because I learned a lot of things from this whole process, and Paul is kind enough still treat me as a good friend. So that part we are doing okay. The reason I'm saying this is, a lot of times people think they cannot go in ahead of the game. It's not because the few bucks you make or you lose, you give out or you take in. It is actually in here. Is your mind have that proper setup? If your mind does not really set up, you will be tripped over by that 1% difference. And you pick up a small sesame and you lose a big watermelon. That's what the Chinese way saying, you sort of forget what is most important things to you. So lesson shared here, I think I reached the end of this quick video sharing, is sometimes you need to think about what is more important to you, to your investment and your life, not just that 1% difference. And that is the reason why today in Coffee Down community we charge 8%, and we will never ever increase that number. So that is the lesson learned from my mentor Paul. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day, and I will see you next time.